Major WWE star makes bold prediction about Liv Morgan's future post-injury. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Jennifer. Have a nice day. For the WWE family latest news update, please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. Liv Morgan was injured during her match against Kairi Sane on WWE Raw last week. While the wrestling world has poured love and support for the superstar, Natalya believes that Morgan will come back stronger than ever. On the Busted Open podcast, former women's champion Natalya spoke about Liv Morgan's unfortunate injury and why she thinks the former women's world champion will come back stronger than ever. The Queen of Hearts stated that Morgan is the kind of person who takes anything she is given and turns it into gold. While Natalya doesn't have the specifics of the injury or WWE's plans, she believes that Morgan will be back with a bang. That is a woman that always lands on her feet. She always takes whatever it is she is given and makes it better. So, whatever it is that is going on with her, she is going to take it and she is going to run with it and she is going to make it gold and she is going to come back stronger than she has ever been. 2:43 o'clock. Liv Morgan sustained a legitimate injury on last week's episode of WWE Raw. Just seconds into her match with Kairi Sane, Morgan landed awkwardly from a takedown. The Judgment Day member immediately rolled out of the ring while holding her shoulder and signaled to the referee that she couldn't compete further. The former women's world champion was immediately attended to and was taken to the back. Michael Cole later confirmed that she had dislocated her shoulder. A report stated that backstage reactions were relatively calm compared to Zoe Stark's incident, suggesting the outlook may be less severe. While not officially confirmed by WWE medical staff, she may be expected to be sidelined for 3 months. Tonight's episode of WWE Raw will serve as the go-home show for the Night of Champions 2025 premium live event. The show already appears to be stacked, as multiple things have already been announced by the Stamford-based promotion. Additionally, the semi-finals of King Queen of the Ring 2025 are set to unfold. In this article, we will discuss 4 things that could happen on Raw before the Saudi Arabia show. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez are the current WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. Last week, Liv unfortunately suffered a shoulder injury and is expected to be sidelined for 6 months. As a result, there is a possibility that the Judgment Day members might be stripped of the tag team titles. This could further lead to new champions being crowned through a tournament. Roxanne Perez will face Jade Cargill in the semifinals of the Queen of the Ring tournament. The winner of this bout will lock horns against Asuka at Night of Champions 2025. The Storm is expected to emerge as the victor in this match. If this scenario unfolds, Roxanne might officially join the Judgment Day. Morgan is already out of WWE due to injury, giving a perfect time for the company to incorporate Perez into the villainous faction. Becky Lynch's Women's Intercontinental Championship will be at stake, as the man will defend the title against Bayley. The Irish star attacked the role model at WrestleMania 41 and took her out. Later, Becky turned heel on Raw after Mania and affirmed herself as the attacker. To bring a surprise twist to the rivalry between Bayley and Lynch, the former damaged CTRL leader may dethrone Becky Lynch and become the new champion. This would help WWE extend the feud between these two veterans and further incorporate Lyra Valkyria into the story. Nikki Bella was previously expected to face Liv Morgan at Evolution 2. However, following the real-life injury of the Judgment Day member, plans are likely to change drastically. To set up a new feud for the Hall of Famer, WWE might plant seeds in tonight's Raw. This could happen when the Fearless One issues an open challenge for Evolution 2025. A heel star may confront Nikki, establishing a rivalry for the all-women's show. A major WWE champion was forced out of action on Monday Night Raw after suffering a nasty and legitimate injury. During last night's show, women's tag team champion Liv Morgan was set to face Kairi Sane in singles action, but the match was scrapped just minutes in. The 31-year-old superstar took an awkward landing after a few moments and screamed in pain as she held her arm, and referee Jessica Carr was soon forced to end the bout. As reported by PW Insider, Liv, who has been heavily involved in storylines including her partnership with the Dirty Dominic Mysterio, suffered a dislocated shoulder, and she was immediately assessed by WWE's medical team after being taken backstage. The outlet noted that the company was still waiting to determine the severity of the wrestler's injury, which in turn will impact how long she will be on the sidelines. Liv Morgan may have suffered a setback, but it could lead to something big. Liv Morgan has been on the run of a lifetime since the better part of 2024. She had a captivating run as the WWE Women's World Champion. At the start of 2025, she and Raquel Rodriguez were ruling the roost as the tag team champions. However, an unfortunate incident occurred on the June 16th edition of Raw, resulting in her shoulder injury. The Miracle Kid had to be escorted out of her match and was evaluated upon reaching the backstage area. Furthermore, a report by PW Insider has stated that Morgan will require surgery and is expected to be out for 6 months. Despite a major setback at the prime of her career, Morgan can still make an impact upon her return. Liv Morgan was scheduled to compete in a singles match against Kairi Sane on Raw this week. As the bout began, the duo engaged, and in the first few moments, Morgan dropped on the mat awkwardly. This led to her suffering a dislocated shoulder and the match being immediately stopped. Morgan was able to walk out on her own, but had assistance from the WWE officials. Now, with the recent update on her injury, she will miss a significant time on WWE television. While such a hiatus can lead to fans forgetting about the stars and they losing their spot, that does not seem to be the case with Liv Morgan. Immediately after she was injured, Liv Morgan received immense support and well wishes for a speedy recovery from her fan base. Amidst her absence, she could continue to engage with the audience through her social media and outside public appearances. Moreover, she could utilize this time to pursue other major projects like she did recently with the Hollywood film Bad Lieutenant Tokyo, significantly boosting her fame further. Moreover, the fans would surely be waiting for her return, considering the star power she commands. All this can lead up to a thunderous return, possibly as a surprise entrant in the Women's Royal Rumble 2026 in Saudi Arabia. Morgan, after finishing as a runner-up for years, can finally etch that accolade to her resume and earn a major title match at WrestleMania 42. This could be huge for her resurgence in WWE and also mark the start of a potential second reign as the WWE Women's World Champion. So it remains to be seen if WWE could turn this setback into an opportunity for Liv Morgan's ascension to even greater heights. Liv Morgan suffered an unfortunate shoulder injury last week on Raw in a match with Kairi Sane. This will reportedly keep her sidelined for around 3 months, putting her in-ring return at the end of the summer. While most injured stars are kept off TV, this hasn't been the case in some instances. Bianca Belair appeared on SmackDown in her hometown of Nashville despite having a broken finger. Rey Mysterio appeared at Worlds Collide. Conversely, Ilja Dragunov hasn't been seen on TV after injuring his ACL last year, same as with Apollo Crews and Kiana James. If Morgan appears on the next episode of Raw, she can do any of the next 5 things. If Liv Morgan appears on Raw a week after suffering her shoulder injury, one easy thing she could do is wish Dominic Mysterio well in his match against AJ Styles at Night of Champions. This would require no physical activity and keep her on screen while also keeping up with her Judgment Day requirements. If bookers decide to extend her appearance to other things, then she could possibly do more. Since her main focus in the group has been winning titles and Dirty Dom, hoping for the best for her paramour ahead of a huge match seems like something easy to do for the injured Morgan. Holding the WWE Women's Tag Team titles has created a huge problem for Morgan and the rest of the division. Since winning the titles on Raw after WrestleMania, Morgan and Rodriguez have not defended the titles even once on the main roster. That's nearly 2 months of inaction for a championship, something that would have been rectified in years past. Now that she's officially out injured, she could hand her title over to Roxanne Perez. Perez has been essentially interning for the group at the urging of Finn Balor. This would give Roxanne direction as well as provide Morgan an easy goal to strive for when she's healthy. It would also keep the belts in the faction. One drastic thing Liv Morgan could do if she appears on Raw is to quit the Judgment Day. It would seem out of character since she's reveled in the chaos the group causes since joining them last year. The injury, however, could force her to reevaluate how she's acted, and she may see the error of her ways. Quitting the group would also write her off TV. Leaving the Judgment Day would also potentially set up a spot for another person to join the group since Carlito was released. Perez's joining may make sense, but Rodriguez may want someone else. When stars are ready to take time off for an injury, WWE typically writes them off via random backstage attacks. Since there has been tension between Morgan and Perez, they could do this by having the Prodigy attack Morgan backstage. They don't have to show the attack, but instead have her lying on the ground as is usually done, like with Bayley's attack ahead of WrestleMania 41. Officials could also opt to have Raquel turn on her for abandoning her as the champions. This would have her first feud ready and waiting for when she's completely healed. Since she should relinquish the WWE Tag Team titles on Raw, Morgan may be given an in-ring promo segment due to her dominating the division. Over the last year, Morgan could do several things, like wish the group well and claim she'll be watching from the sidelines each week. She could also relinquish her titles along with Rodriguez. Despite all of her actions as an agent of chaos with the Judgment Day, a good portion of the fans still cheer for Morgan, as evidenced by her entrance every week. She could turn face after cutting a tearful promo on Raw. It's how everyone else reacts that could set things up for a feud when she comes back.